Welcome back, my beautiful friends. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. I am your host, Zen Sams. Now, coming up, we have our very famous Culinary and Wine segment. And this week, we're featuring Peter Guimaraes. He's managing partner at Grp Cucina Restaurant Group and a celebrity himself. Peter continues to generate amazing dishes, but now not only in Midtown, he's in Soho. He recently opened his second location of Grp Cucina. He's coming on in just a few minutes to help me help you navigate NYC Restaurant Week with ease. Now, NYC Restaurant Week is the city's original culinary celebration and the world's first ever restaurant week. In fact, the program debuted in 1992 when it was developed as a one-time culinary event to welcome the Democratic National Convention, that's right, to the city. Though it was created to appeal to delegates and other DNC attendees, the program, with 95 participating restaurants, also found a strong following among residents excited to dine at some of the city's top restaurants. So over the past 30 years, New York City Restaurant Week has grown tremendously, yet has remained committed to giving visitors and residents the opportunity to experience the quality, variety, and hospitality that all embody the NYC dining experience. And in early 2021, NYC Restaurant Week to go put a spin on the tradition to give the dining industry some much needed support amongst the COVID-19 pandemic with a first ever, takeout and delivery program that became NYC's largest dining initiative to date, with more than 800 participants from all five boroughs. If its success has taught us anything, it's that New Yorkers love their restaurants, and NYC Restaurant Week is definitely here to stay. The program has since returned to its in-person glory with a much more inclusive pricing structure to ensure representation of all the incredible dining options across our five boroughs. Now, NYC Restaurant Week Winter 2022 is going to run from January 18th through February 13th with even more options for a delicious dining experience than ever before. Those of you that know me can bet that you will also spot me at Grp Cucina, either the Midtown location or when I'm downtown, I'm definitely hanging out at Grp Soho. Welcome to the show, Peter.
I really love these early morning interviews.
Well, listen, welcome to the show. You are the owner of both Grp Cucina locations right here in New York City, and I would like to know what you have planned for NYC Restaurant Week for Grp.
Well, Restaurant Week starts January 18th through February 13th. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people think it's just a week because it's called Restaurant Week. I'm not sure why they don't change the name to Restaurant Month. But anyway, so this year they have three different pricing structures: $29, $39, and $59. And they basically leave it up to each restaurant to decide what they're going to include in that price structure. 29 looks like it's going to be probably just a prefix lunch, and then 39 and 59 will probably be for dinner.
And what kind of dishes are you are they part of the regular menu? Like, are you extracting dishes from the menu? Or are you adding special dishes for the month essentially?
Excuse me. No, so really, Restaurant Week is done to get the culinary scene from New York out to everybody, right? Especially if you're a higher end restaurant like we are. Normally on a Restaurant Week, you would get people coming in that normally wouldn't come to your place because of its price structure. So Restaurant Week is meant to introduce these restaurants to everybody. So the menu will be the same that it is in our regular menu, smaller little items, and then we combine it with a prefix where you would get a salad, an entree, and a dessert.
There you go. Now, do you actually feel that there's an influx of customers during Restaurant Week, or do you feel like it's kind of pretty much the same in terms of business flow?
Well, it's a good question. Before COVID, you definitely felt it. During COVID, it's sporadic. I think people and with the media always talking about the Omicron and the viruses, people are starting to get a little bit nervous about going out. So I'm curious to see what effect it will have on Restaurant Week.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm always going to put this advice out because I'm a big Restaurant Week fan. Always try booking for lunch because many of these restaurants participate in the program for only the midday meal, right? And alternatively, I always tell people to make a reservation for Sunday nights where there's usually more availability, and when many restaurants still serve their NYC Restaurant Week menus. So checking in advance and planning ahead. Now, with customers in this new year in your Bice Cucina location, which is always trending, packed with a celebrity. I mean, I've been there a dozen times, and in just since the beginning of the year, and I've always spotted somebody noteworthy. How do you manage to not only serve amazing food, the prices are always reasonable, but there's always a celebrity there, Peter? Like, is your Rolodex just VIP celebrities and politicians? How do you pull this off?
You know what? I think it has to do with the fact that we've been in New York City for over 35 years. When we first opened up in 1983 on 54th Street at Midtown, we were the celebrity-driven place. And since we've opened restaurants all over the world and we're in popular locations, I think that has a lot to do with it. If you go on my Instagram page, you see Bruce Springsteen, you see Billy Joel, you see a lot of celebrities. And I think they've just been used to coming to us over the years. And, people like going to places that they know they're going to get good food, they're going to be treated well. And we've lasted the test of time. We're not a flash in the pan.
Yeah, no, you definitely have lasted the test of time. And I know that a lot of the Restaurant Week features include drinks, right? So some restaurants pair beverages, wine, specialty cocktails with their meals, typically for around $15 to $25 extra. Are you doing this at the any of the Biche locations?
Yeah, I mean, we're starting to work out on our pricing structure right now. But yeah, I mean, we want to make it so people have a good time. People enjoy the price structures, and they get what they paid for. Some complaints sometimes during restaurant week is the portions are just so much smaller to fit the price. People tend to leave with a bad taste in their mouth, and we're trying not to do that.
That's what I was going to ask you. So my major complaint every time I get to a restaurant during NYC Restaurant Week is I always say, well, is this the same dish as it would be on the menu? Because I do feel, to your point, that I want to say at least 50% of restaurants alter the portion size. And you're right, that does leave a sour taste in somebody's mouth, no pun intended. So I'm glad to hear that you will not be doing that. Now, Instagram could definitely be your guide here. And I know that you are an influencer of sorts. You trend very well on the gram. We have tons of common friends. And I know that people look at social media to make choices, be it for food or for clothing. So what does when one would land on the Bice Cucina Instagram page, the one thing that I always see is that you're featuring really cool dishes, DJs, the moments that are basically capturable and where you can show the world what culinary experience you'll be getting when you dine at your place. But talk to me about the effect social media has had on your restaurants.
So social media has changed the game, So back in the day before social media, to get that kind of exposure you get now on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, you'd have to spend a lot of thousands of dollars on PR firms and advertising. So social media has helped, smaller companies, smaller guys like us, to be able to get our product out there at an inexpensive way to do it. So social media, if you have a huge following, if you know what you're doing on social media, you can really make an impact on driving people to your place.
Absolutely. And then it's very telling also, Peter, of the demographic that you're serving, right? Because, for instance, a lot of millennials, a lot of Gen Zs, we're on social media. Baby boomers have now jumped on the bandwagon, I feel, and are now also checking out restaurants and products on social media. So it's definitely upping the ante. And I think that the biggest fear a business should have is not being on social media, not the fear of actually getting on there. Just get on there and start to create positive posts, exactly like what you're doing. Well, that brings us to the end of our talk time, but I wanted to make sure that people also know the hashtag NYC Restaurant Week. Check that out on Instagram to see what dishes and restaurants are trending. And here's a pro tip: search the geotags of participating restaurants to see what looks delicious before you actually get there. Peter, thank you so much for coming on and giving us such insight for Restaurant Week. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you, Zen. I'll see you at the bar later.
Absolutely, I will be there. Definitely check out Peter G. He trends all over social media. Check them out on their website at bchcucina.com or check out their individual handles at bchcucina.soho and at bchcucina Midtown. That was Peter Guimaraes, managing partner at both Bice Cucina locations. That was our culinary and wine segment. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. We'll be right back after this.
If you've missed out dining in New York City for the past year, it's time to visit the legendary Bice Cucina. Located in the heart of Midtown, Bice specializes in blending delicious Northern Italian and American cuisine with dishes such as the incredible taglione lobster, ravioli masala, ossobuco, and pappardelle al telefono, along with many other mouthwatering offerings. You deserve a great night out. Call Bice Cucina 212-757-2600 or online at bicecucina.com.
That's the end of our date, my dear friends. Thank you for joining me. Remember to come back next week right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. We're live every Saturday night from 9 to 10 p.m. or go to 710wr.iheart.com/a moment of Zen. Remember, we're now on TV. Download the KP Media TV app on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, or Android TV, or you could tune in at watch.kpmedia.tv and catch us live on the Impact channel Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. All episodes of A Moment of Zen are now available on demand. Thank you for listening to us. It's been an absolute pleasure being your host. And remember, happiness is the only thing that multiplies when you share it. Thanks again to all of our sponsors.